Hello and welcome to the Spring Assessment Information webinar where we will go over procedures and scheduling for all the upcoming assessments that will take place in the spring. This is our assessment team. I'm Amanda Leal, the assessment coordinator. You can reach out to me with questions at any time at amanda.leal@orlandoscience.org. These are our primary communication channels for anything assessment related. This webinar will be available on YouTube. We post on Microsoft Teams reminders, room locations, and other information for the students on Microsoft Teams. They can check with their subject area teachers as well for subject-specific questions about the test. You can check the school newsletter. We have an assessment section. And then we also have an assessment corner bulletin board on the third floor here. And finally, we send reminders on Parent Square. The primary tests for March and April are the best writing, which is Tuesday the 31st for all 9th and 10th graders, and then the ACT school day for all 11th graders on April 7th. Letters were sent out regarding the best writing exam and the ACT school day. All juniors are automatically registered for the ACT school day. For the best writing exam, it'll be a computer-based test. Students will be given a set of passages and a prompt. It'll be either argumentative or expository. They'll read the passages and then form their response and type the essay. They'll have 120 minutes to complete the test. If they need more time, they're allowed to test up until half a school day, and students with accommodations for extended time are allowed to test for the full school day. The best writing assessments are no longer combined with the reading assessment. The reading assessment is a graduation requirement for 10th graders, but they'll have separate scores for those. For the ACT school day, it is college reportable. It covers ELA, math, and science. We have a contract with the state for the ACT for juniors, so seniors are not allowed to test, but all juniors are signed up. Again, seniors can't test due to our contract with ACT, but our seniors will have taken it last year, and they can always sign up and take it on their own time as well. Now in May, that's when we have most of our exams. The whole first 3 weeks of May will be testing. So on the following slides, I'll go over the AP exams as well as the state exams for the FAST ELA, Algebra 1 EOC, Geometry EOC, Biology and US History EOCs. This is our schedule for May. So as you can see, there's multiple tests every day, AM and PM. So we'll start with Monday the 4th. We have both AP Biology and the FAST ELA on the same day. So OCPS chose that day, so we are required to stick with that day for the FAST ELA. However, most of our 10th graders are enrolled in AP Biology, so they should prioritize the AP exam. Take AP Bio on Monday. The 9th graders and any 10th graders not enrolled in AP Bio will take the FAST ELA on that day, which again is the graduation requirement for 10th graders. So students who are taking AP Bio will take the FAST ELA the following week when we don't have tests going on for 9th and 10th graders as much. So Tuesday we'll have AP Chemistry, and the grade in this column, that's just the primary grade testing. We have a few students, I think in 10th or 11th, taking AP Chemistry, for example. We'll have Human Geography and then AP US Gov in the afternoon. Please ensure that students are on time because there are very strict timing requirements for the exams. We have to start the exam between 8 and 9 for the AM exams. For Wednesday, we'll have English, Literature. I put the AP exams in bold. For state exams, the Algebra EOC retake. We don't currently offer Algebra 1 at OSS, so it's not the EOC for anyone who's currently enrolled. But anyone who took Algebra 1 on FLVS and needs to take the exam can take it also any students enrolled in 10th, 11th, or 12th who still need to meet that graduation requirement will also take it. The geometry EOC will be for students currently enrolled in geometry this year, which is mostly 10th and 9th graders. We'll have the FAST-CLA retake, not the makeup exam for those 10th graders, but the retake for 11th and 12th graders who need to meet that graduation requirement still, and then finally AP Physics in the afternoon. Thursday, World History and Statistics. Friday, US History and Macroeconomics. Then the second week, on Monday, we have AP Calculus, AB and BC, an AP seminar in the afternoon. Tuesday, AP Pre-Calculus. The Biology EOC will be for any students currently enrolled in either biology or pre-AP biology. All of those students will take the biology EOC. AP Psychology is in the afternoon. Also, I should note for these afternoon tests, some of them will run longer than the normal school day. Please check the timing for each individual exam. For exams that are 3 hours, for example, we can start between 12 and 1. We usually end up starting right around 12:30 by the time the script has been read, so those students won't be done testing until at least 3:30. So make sure to check with your student, see what exam they have that day and how long it is, because you might need to pick them up later and they won't have access to their phones during the exam. For Wednesday, we'll have AP Lang, and then the FAST ELA makeup. So this one on Wednesday will be the one for the 10th graders who took AP Biology the previous week and missed the FAST ELA. And then any 9th graders who were absent on the first day can also make it up on Wednesday. And then Physics C in the afternoon. Thursday will be the US History EOC for anyone currently enrolled in US History Honors. If your student is enrolled in AP US History, I sent a note about them signing up for the US History EOC, and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. And then in the afternoon, we have AP Physics C, Electricity and Magnetism. That one sounds fun. On Friday, we have AP Environmental Science and Computer Science A. And then finally, the following week, so Monday, the 18th, actually, that whole week, we'll have makeup testing. So we'll have state testing makeups for anyone who was absent for any of the EOCs throughout that whole week. And then AP exams, they have very specific schedule for late testing if a student was at an academic event. For example, we have ISEF, a few students have qualified for that. They've already registered for late testing and they know their days. We have just a few students doing the AP makeups. Or if a student is ill on the morning of their AP exam, please notify us right away, because we'll have to request late testing and get it approved from College Board. These are our testing policies. They're the same for all assessments. Students are not allowed to bring any electronic devices. They really should leave them in their lockers, and they won't have access to lockers during testing. Or at the very least, they'll need to turn it into the teacher or proctor before they start testing. So no phones, smart watches, earbuds, smart glasses. Even if they're prescription, they can't have smart glasses. They'll have to wear non-smart glasses or test without the glasses on that day. If any of these devices are found on the student during the test, then their test will be invalidated. For most tests, calculators are prohibited unless specifically allowed for certain exams. And also, the students cannot consult textbooks, notes, teachers, or other students during the exam, so they shouldn't be leaving and going to other teachers' classes or to their lockers. For the statewide assessments, they're all administered on campus. Students will not be admitted into testing rooms after testing begins, so they should be on time on those days. Testing will start promptly. They're notified about their locations on Microsoft Teams. Also, the testing locations will be posted around the school, usually in the cafeteria and on the assessment bulletin board. And all assessments are computer-based unless a student has accommodations for paper-based testing. For the FAST ELA, it's required for all students in grade 10 to take it. It's a graduation requirement, even if they have a passing concordance score on file. For example, from taking the SAT, they're still required to take the FAST ELA. The FAST ELA assessment for the final one, PM3, they have 2 hours to take it. If they need more time, they're allowed to test up to 1 school day. For algebra and geometry, these are the specifications for those exams. They have 160 minutes for algebra 1 and geometry. They are allowed to bring calculators, and they're given reference sheets. And again, they're allowed to continue testing for up to the length of a typical school day. For biology and U.S. history, they also get 160 minutes for that and can keep testing up until the end of the day. And if you have any other questions about the statewide assessments, or if the students want to take a practice test, they can go to flfast.org and access sample tests, the assessment resources if they want to take a look at the script or the manual, the FAST fact sheet, and information about accessing scores after testing. This is the graduation requirement information. For the FAST 10 ELA, they'll need at least a score of a 3. And for the best algebra 1, they need a score of a 3 or above to meet the graduation requirement. There are comparative and concordance scores for these exams that we'll talk about in just a moment. Right here. So they have a lot of options. They actually just started doing this in 2020, and they've continued adding on more concordance scores to help students meet that graduation requirement. So if they don't pass the grade 10 FAST in 10th grade, then in 11th and 12th grade, they have other options. They can take the SAT reading and writing, which we offered to all juniors this year for a score of 490. Then that would meet that graduation requirement, and then they don't have to keep retaking the FAST. They can also earn a score on the PSAT, which we also offered to all sophomores and juniors this year. PSAT 10, ACT, which is coming up, pre-ACT, and the CLT, which we're also offering to some students who still need to meet that graduation requirement. For Algebra 1, if they did not pass the Algebra 1 EOC the first time they took it, they can still retake it, but they also have these other options. They have the SAT Math, PSAT NMSQT Math, PSAT 10 Math, ACT, Pre-ACT, CLT, CLT 10, or the Geometry EOC. So if they're stronger with geometry, some students are choosing to take geometry instead of retaking algebra. They still have to take both, but they need to pass at least one for graduation. For the Scholar Diploma designation, I sent an email about this to the AP US History students, but just so everyone knows, if your student is interested in earning a Scholar Diploma designation, they need to pass 5 state exams. So in addition to reading and algebra, which are the graduation requirements, they would also need to pass geometry, the Biology 1 EOC, and the US History EOC. For biology and US history, I believe most of our students take the biology EOC in 9th grade. And then our 10th graders take AP biology. But if they didn't pass the biology EOC in 9th grade and they want that Scholar Diploma designation, then they could take the Biology 1 EOC this year. For US history, those students are currently in 10th grade. If they're in AP US history, they can still sign up to take the US history EOC to get the Scholar Diploma designation. And if you have any questions about the Scholar Diploma designation, they can reach out to their guidance counselor. You can also visit this website down here. For the AP exams, this is a list of everything they should bring. Essentially, they're fully charged Chromebooks, charger, something to write with. Those are the key things. But here's the full list. They can have a watch. We will have timers projected on the board. They also have timers in Blue Book. So the watch isn't a requirement, but they can have it. School ID. A calculator, if allowed, they should check the calculator policy. For AP Physics, a ruler or straight edge, and then pencils or pens. And of course their testing device, their Chromebook. With Blue Book installed, they should all have Blue Book installed already. We'll have them all log in to check and make sure they have all the updates before testing starts. They're also, if they would like to, they're allowed to bring an external mouse or keyboard. What they should not bring, again, any other electronic equipment besides their testing Chromebook. This is all the same as the state testing. No smart glasses or smart watches. They shouldn't have stylus pens or Apple pens. Any other notes, they should empty their Chromebooks of any notes. No dictionaries or highlighters, mechanical pencils, any of their own scratch paper. Food or drink, watches that beep or have an alarm, so they should turn that off. Hoodies and hats are not permitted. Earplugs, clipboards, privacy screens, or separate computer monitors. For the calculator policy, any exams that allow calculators for AP exams will have an embedded calculator in Blue Book for those students to use. So they don't have to bring their own, but they are allowed to bring 2 handheld calculators. Just, again, have them check the approved calculators list. This will be shared with students as well. To make sure. Primarily, they can't have the computer algebraic system functionality in their calculator. They also can't share calculators with other students. For their AP scores, they'll receive those over the summer. They should check their specific college requirements regarding the AP scores. Some colleges only accept a 5 or a 4, but most will accept at least a 3 for college credit. But there is a search tool on the College Board website where they can look up their college's specific requirements and what type of credit they offer for each AP exam. That was it for AP exams. Hopefully I covered everything. Let me know if you have any questions about AP exams or state exams. These last couple of slides are about class-specific exams. So, for example, the base exam, that just took place on March 10th. That's for juniors who are enrolled in that course to earn their biotechnician assistant credentials. So it's a really important exam. They should receive their scores any day now, and if they need to retake it, Mrs. Bright will reach out to them about signing up to retake the base exam if they need to. For PLTW, Project Lead the Way, these are also course specific, so anyone in Ms. Dantas's, Ms. Bright's, or Mr. Whitfield's classes can look at these exam dates and they'll take those exams in their class. Final reminders, please consult the assessment calendar, which is in the newsletter. Encourage your students to check Teams daily, especially when all of those assessments start, because we'll have the reminders and the room locations and everything on Teams. They should arrive on time on testing days. Please communicate any scheduled absences ASAP so we can request late testing if needed, and encourage your student to rest. That's it. Thank you so much. You can email me with any questions you have at amanda.leal@orlandoscience.org. Otherwise, thank you and have a wonderful day. Good afternoon. Welcome to the assessment webinar for the OSS Spring Assessments. The fourth quarter is typically known as testing season because we have so many coming up. So we're going to go over which assessments are coming up and what to expect in terms of scheduling, communication, and more. This is our assessment team. I'm Amanda Leal, the assessment coordinator. You can reach out to me anytime with any assessment related questions at amanda.leal@orlandoscience.org. These are the primary communication channels for assessment related information. This webinar will be shared on YouTube and in the newsletter. Students can always check Microsoft Teams for reminders and room locations. They can reach out to subject area teachers for test-specific questions, such as formatting or the length of the exam. You can always check the school newsletter. There is an assessment section in the newsletter. We have a bulletin board on the third floor here with assessment information. And then also I try to share information on Parent Square or in email blasts as well. So these are the two primary exams in March and April. On Tuesday, March 31st, first we have the best writing exam.